Hello, it is Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, and today's topic is going to be sketching this elephant, but like the detail stage, so just make a note of that. And before we begin, welcome back if you're returning, and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day, and I use a timer to stay focused and to build a sketching habit. And I'll post a link to yesterday's video if you want to follow along. I started from scratch on this elephant. Like usually I'll just kind of work on it off camera, but this I'm going to call the detail stage, which isn't exactly the same as the final detail stage, but sometimes I find that I don't really need to do the final detail, or sometimes it's good to come back to it after a while, that kind of thing. But the detail stage is pretty important. With that said, I'm going to zoom in and kind of talk about the thought process. So the tools were this brush pen for these bold brush strokes, and then for the detail I'll use like a fine point. It happens to be a Sharpie, and I usually use like a felt tip pen, but this is like the look of it. And I mean, obviously the pen that you use will affect the look and the feel. Just to get warmed up, I'm going to keep, so this I would just call hatching. I haven't really cross hatched, if you will, meaning didn't really go in another direction. So that's kind of what I mean. Like, just to get warmed up, I'm going to just keep the lines parallel. Yeah, just to kind of get warmed up, but also that may be like the look of it. And so that's kind of my point, is that sometimes the look of the drawing will just kind of sort of decide on its own how it wants to look. So I am using reference, by the way, and yeah, I just kind of talked about that yesterday, how I used it for the proportions and everything. And yeah, like I'm still using it for this one, but I'm sort of, once you kind of get to the detail part, you're sort of at that stage where you want the drawing itself to kind of look good. So now it's kind of its own thing, has a life of its own. One thing I did want to point out was that it's good to be methodical so that you'll know at every step of the way if you need to rework something. So the idea isn't to be perfect or to not make any mistakes, but to kind of know where you're at. Like, that's the main thing. So yeah, kind of think of it as a journey where you're not really trying to not ever sort of take the wrong turn or run into like any issues, but that one, it won't be anything major, and that the other thing is you can deal with it. One, to get warmed up, I'm going to use the parallel. So yesterday I laid down these lines, you can see, for like the medium tone. So you got like the dark and then the light, and this is like the medium, and then I'm gonna blend it. That's where like the cross hatching would come in. It's kind of up to you like how you want to do that. So I'm just gonna, like I said, for the sake of simplicity, just use go in the same direction. And that may be, well, I can already tell because it's elephant wrinkles, like the skin, like I'm gonna go and sort of do the cross hatching, go in like other directions. A lot of the hard work was done in yesterday's video. Now this one is work, but like it's detail work, and if the drawing is good, then it's pretty fun. So for example, like some of this was because of the brush, and when I look at the reference, maybe the lighting isn't exactly like that, so I'm going to adjust my drawing. Now if I have to, I guess I could use white paint or something to add, which isn't like that bad of an idea, but that's like final detail type stuff. Just go in this like one direction for a while, just to see how far you can take the drawing. It may be all you need to do. that there shouldn't be too much I have to adjust as far as like the drawing. And by that I mean stuff like where the eye is at right here. So yeah, like this part isn't really necessarily like the reference. So I'm just going to work with it. So kind of blend in these bold lines a little bit like this. And also when I add more detail, so I'm going to do that a little bit here. So for like so pretty much this is hatching, meaning I just kind of went one way, but then to get it like cross hatching, then I can add like the wrinkles. And so just be kind of deliberate, because this is like the icing on the cake at this point. Like it's already done. So that's how I would do this. Just the details also have kind of their own proportion, meaning like the wrinkles going this way also has like the distance. So in some ways it's similar to what we were doing, but we're staying within sort of the drawing. And definitely at this point you want to take your time. I mean, there's at this point there's kind of the fun detail part. I'll go ahead and work on this some. Put a little bit of background music so you can kind of see the progress. But yeah, I want to thank you for joining me for our daily sketching routine. If you like these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it. And until next time, keep on sketching.